What is up, Roboticized Nation? Welcome to Voice Lab 0.1, where we discuss and research anything my evil heart fancies. And today, that is the 7 worst Sonic games. Some might say in my opinion. Why 7, you may ask? Well, obviously to use this transition music.
7 rings in hand, speed through nights with beating sand. 7 rings in hand, wonders all under command.
This game earns its way onto the list because at only 4 hours long, the game absolutely fails at all matters of storytelling. Chekhov's gunning, baiting, almost Gary stewing, the fanfiction list goes on. To get into some specifics of just how trash this story is on basic levels, let's talk about wasted potential. The Eggman Empire has taken over 99% of the planet. The Resistance is down to just one building, keeping them safe because Sonic is gone and Tails has lost his mind. There is no hope. Except a new Sonic shows up, quickly dispatches everything while the world hardly looks like Eggman is in any more control than usual. Where are the roboticized citizens? The generals in charge? Anything besides generic robot placement and new monster of the week that we have seen before? Okay, I guess the buildings are on fire, but big whoop, Chaos put the whole place underwater and everyone evacuated. It's not really that big a threat in the Sonic universe. Infinite's power to trick Sonic into thinking he is faster? Used once. Infinite's ability to spawn whatever bad guy he wants? Easily broken by a boot to the head. The ability to transform himself? Used once. Glitches out and ends up getting him killed. Not to mention his backstory of, well, that mean Mr. Shadow kicked me super hard, and now I got a scar that makes no sense and I want revenge, is a bloody joke. I've definitely read better motivations by 13-year-old fanfiction writers, which oddly enough, this is ripping off somehow. Do that math. And you have got to be kidding me with the cutscenes cannot be recorded bit. I get it, you don't want people to record and share spoilers, but this is Sonic the Bloody Hedgehog. Newborn infants know what the plot is about to be. The evil Dr. Eggman is trying to take over the world and is to be stopped by the fastest thing alive. Sonic the Hedgehog has pretty much been that way since 1991, just with some added steps in the last decade or two. They even revealed Infinite's design, theme, and backstory in promotion material. By the way, the comics were pretty nice and still the best way to experience anything to do with the Force is canon. It's just so odd to think these cutscenes need to be so protected. Of course we can't bring up the cutscenes without bringing up this tragedy. I've been a Sonic fan since Sonic Adventure DX, so I've seen Tails go through this I can't do it all on my own, I need to fly high bullock since the beginning. It was good the first time. The kid saved the city and stopped a robot, key to the city and all that. Now, watching it for like the 3rd time around, there is no magic. It's just regression. I miss Color's banter the more time goes on. Now let's talk about the major culprit of that tragedy of character development. Classic Sonic. Or Dimension Sonic. Or Boyfriend Sonic. Santiago? Don't know who he is. Sure still doesn't act like the original guy. But we made mania about him. His sky blue butt was not needed to push copies of the game. The fact that they had so little faith, Rookie, Buddy, whatever else his name, he might as well be Santiago. Inclusion, that they tried to push Generations 2 with ads like this. It was just sad. Which brings me to the fact that for a fan base full of people with self-insert OCs, Rookie got way too bad of a rap. The character can be quite fun to play with a decent variety of different battle styles. The inclusion of the character only gets better the more backstory you give to your design. This is Iva the Hedgehog. He's a secret agent of the Eggman Empire that has infiltrated the Resistance. And he's looking for his chance to strike for the Empire to regain strength. You know, even though it's 99%, and it goes down, and he's trying to get the 1%. Don't think too hard about it, but obviously, sadly that chance never comes, and the cover becomes a little too successful, and suddenly I'm beating up Eggman at the end. I feel like we could have changed the story a bit. Also, this is Being the Dynamite, this is my college roommate, and this is...
Bucky! Captain Bucky O'Hare!
had fun with this part, okay? With a game this short, you would think level variety wouldn't be so quick to die in the water, but forces falls into the look at the cinematic run through a loop way too quickly and often. The game needed more levels built around Rookie and Sonic teaming up. Their powers combined led to some of the most fun moments in the game. Just being able to switch from like a flamethrower to a homing attack was quite fun and smooth. In conclusion, yeah, it's dumb and a narrative failure, but it's just an okay Sonic game. It's really on the worst list for half its qualities. It stays downloaded on my PS4 because a quick run through a level is still kind of fun. Now who's ready for some easy target practice?
7 rings in hand, speed through nights with beating sand. 7 rings in hand, wonders all under command.
This is baby's first worst Sonic game. Everyone and their grandma has had their 2 cents to put into this game, so this is probably gonna be one of the shorter explanations, because I'm not the biggest fan of dead horses. This was the game that really brought Sonic hate into the public eye. It wasn't just one guy that thought Sonic 3 was where it started to be repetitive in a magazine article in the 90s anymore. This was built-up hype that crashed hard for everyone as a launch title on the console, and then later for people on another console. Delays are weird. And also companies are weird. A lot of this hype came from being the new Sonic on the block. This was Sonic in the real world. All new realistic hedgehog, realistic people. This wasn't your grandpa's Sonic. We even got celebrities for this one. All this to end up the reboot that had to get retconned not only by the studio, but in the game itself. Can't say the CG doesn't look good though. People thought it was the new Final Fantasy at the time. We're so blown away. And I had to be too. To some degree, I had to have seen a commercial or been hype about something. Sonic just didn't exist at that point for me to buy. I was still a kid watching commercials on TV. However, every other cutscene is a dreadful mess of either bad facial expressions or filters that do not convince you it's full CGI. Mephiles is another wasted villain. Honestly, Infinite 1.0 at its core finest. Eggman's design is missing all of its charm. Who hasn't made a joke about the load screens? Time travel is filled with plot holes you could drive their gun truck through. And Princess Elise is just an absolutely garbage character that would throw away the world for a guy she has known for less than a week. The rust history of this game is well known. Jokes been made. All the same, let's not dwell on this one too long. If you want any further thoughts, I'll put the playthrough I did with Raccoon's Dawn in the card in the description. Hey, better! Swing, it's another softball!
7 rings in hand, speed through nights with beating sand. 7 rings in hand, wonders all under command.
Sonic Boom was pitched as a more comedic series, and I gotta give this game props. There are definitely lines where I'm getting a chuckle. However, did you know that every Sonic game on the Wii U requires you to play with the Wii U gamepad? Because I was sure reminded of that this week as the game that required precision put a giant clunky brick in my hands to accomplish the task. With the way the game is structured, everything about it is just repetitive. The puzzles only have 4 ways that can exist due to being so specifically power-based. And that is for the whole 10 plus hours of gameplay. Then returning to combat is the same problem. Only so many times can you press the Y button, for it just has no meaning anymore. Some people say Unleashed had that problem too. At least it had combos if you were feeling adventurous. Claw's Rush Run was very fun with wide range in my opinion. Also, to really hammer home a point, why can't Boomtails fly? There's no point to it. They gimped his jump, turned him into a glider. It makes his gameplay so much more boring. Nintendo 3DS Connection. It feels practically like a necessity for having a more decent time with this game. Increasing ring capacity increases health, and in a dull beat 'em up, anything to not make you randomly die from being dogpiled is a blessing. Plus, this is all done by playing through a good Sonic game. Let's talk about that good game for a second though. Shattered Crystal. Very fun, very fast, fun dialogue, and puzzles that yield to Sonic's speed design quite well. But what if we took that exact game and made it awful?
7 rings in hand, speed through nights with beating sand. 7 rings in hand, wonders all under command.
Slower speeds, slower level transition. Puzzles that can near stop you in your tracks. All just a bloody drag. The fire and ice gimmick have their moments, but overall it's just bashing your head into walls, changing your settings, and then just moving on. I mean, just look at how slow grinding on an ice rail can be. That's just so anti-Sonic, boom or otherwise. Though it was rather nice to have CG cutscenes on the 3DS, even though the PS Vita was long doing it at this point and better. Plus, all the visual improvement in the world doesn't substitute the game pretty much having the most bare-bones script. This could barely even fly as a plot of one of the 11-minute episodes, let alone this multi-hour game. It starts off solid enough. Ooh, a mystery element. A mystery event. Weather going crazy. And a plan for Eggman to destroy Sonic once and for all. Then a weird robot shows up, and the story almost acts like it and Eggman aren't related till halfway through, as it just starts taking on different environmental monster forms. In the end, the plan to ostracize Sonic from society by not being seen as the fastest thing alive anymore barely connects the threads of the new element in the robot magnet. Then, the end of the story is topped off with an insurance joke that I bet the kids just loved. I did enjoy the races, though. They were fun. In conclusion,
You are made of fail.
this next game was originally all the way back at number 6, but after a revisit, my fire is lit on this game anew.
7 rings in hand, speed through nights with feet in sand. 7 rings in hand, wonders all under command.
Simplicity can be some of the best design. When X does light speed, A plus A can be jump to homing attack, and B does some sort of somersault is when Sonic is flying high. Getting the buttons done right at high speeds can feel like such a rush. But Lost World decided confusing the players if it were a fighting game would do better. A and A are both jump buttons, but A plus B is a double jump. A plus A is the homing attack, and B plus B is a double jump. Yeah, I can't imagine that becoming confusing in a split-second decision. Then, God forbid, you don't try to swap things up with the A plus X combo to kick the enemy every now and again. Or, you'll be so lost about what's happening in a fight, you might just lose a life. Oh, and I guess down plus A was just too good for Lost World, because now to accomplish a spin dash, you need to hit Z, L, and A. Of course, this is also a Sonic game on the Wii U, so we have all these bad button combos on a big ol' hunk of chunk brick, just like Rise of Lyric. So sorry people with smaller hands, yeah, the Joy-Cons are perfect for you these days. Let's cover one more specific button that ran me up the wall. Literally, a run button in Sonic, are you kidding me? He's the fastest thing alive. What is this leisurely jog if my finger isn't holding down the blasted ZR button? Then bless me if I think I can do this in tight areas. The attack chain mechanic can be interesting, but it's got so many finicky moments on top of making boss fights piss easy, it needed a touch up before it went out. Continuing on with the finicky nature of this game, there's so many moments where you are met with a narrow margin of error platform, and either a gimmick of the stage like becoming a giant snowball, or just the general controls will lead you to your quick and ever-dropping death. These bounce-off Yetis are annoying. I was also reminded this game had the helicopter 2-player that you unlocked over time of playing the game. I won't really go that much into it, besides being annoyed that they get to play with the Pro Controller. What's that about? Yes, I realize minigames wouldn't work without the Wii U gamepad. You can stop commenting, I checked that. But tell me in the comments if you guys would like to see me do a whole video on all of 2-player in Sonic's history. I feel like it'd be fun to drag Requiem's Dawn along as well. And let's hit the real issue of this game. I didn't touch on it as much in the Sonic 06 section, but this still applies for both. Sonic is at his worst when he is trying to be Mario. Saving princesses, fighting a Bowser wannabe, I'm surprised he's not munching on mushrooms. Not to mention this game is just begging to be Mario Galaxy. Floating planets, weird gravity, transform gimmicks, etc. Now someone is gonna say, Mario doesn't own these, plenty of other games did it. Yeah, sure, and Sega has never thought of Nintendo in any way whatsoever. Rivalry? Who has ever heard of that? To give the game its due, however, the DLC levels are some of the most fun moments in the game. Most people remember Sonic Lost World purely for the Skyward Sword level inclusion, but the game giveth, the game taketh away. You can only see these levels every time you gain another certain amount of points. Mother of hell, I just want to play a fun level. Now who's ready for a bit of heartburn?
7 rings in hand, speed through nights with feet in sand. 7
I'll give this game its one compliment up front. The cutscenes are very fun and amazing. They fit the theme of the game perfectly. They also remind me of all the comic dubs I've done on the channel, and that's quite fun for me as well. Alright, let's rip this one a new one. The controls of this game are an utter pain. The Wii U had the Force gamepad, and the Wii had motion controls. Drifting left and right with precision platforming does not yield great results. That's without even mentioning how backflipping to go backwards and the inaccuracy of speeding up with tilt forward drive me up a wall. To homing attack and dash forward in this game, you are constantly jutting your wrist forward. Not only is that annoying, it's actually bad for the health of your wrist, and this game becomes the wrong kind of workout fast. I even found myself attaching the strap just so I stop being smacked by the little plastic bit. Yes, I know that that's a safety precaution to begin with. If you're holding a controller sideways, I hope you're not throwing it at the screen. That's some magic I'd have to see myself. The idea of constant movement for Sonic isn't the worst one, but it can lose its heart fast. If Sonic wants to move forward with or without me, why as the player should I want to contribute? Sometimes, dropping the controller would do the same thing as my planned input. It makes Sonic lose all of his weight, and the game feels emptier for it. So let's talk about the levels, shall we? You'll be dragging yourself through a multitude of different challenges that all give you no clue what will actually give you progress, because some things will lead to nonsensical challenge levels, and some will actually carry the story. I've never seen someone get through the story in its intended order. You'll more than likely get a later World Ring cutscene, or the one that really explains the first one in greater detail. Going into gameplay specifics for a minute, you'll see in this beginner file of the first level I got a bronze. Now you would think, I can totally do that faster. Let's give it a go. I want the gold. Bah! Wrong. Oh, so silly and wrong. You need to do the level up system. Grind your fastest thing alive to actually be the fastest thing alive. Without those speed boost upgrades you are getting much later in the game, you probably aren't breaking any best times, mate. Ending off, this game carried the torch of another Sonic game, changing the playstyle of the game for the final boss, and it makes the learning curve for the fight so much worse. As if Eraser Jin's first fight makes so much sense. Ugh. This game is really getting my dander up, so let's just put the final nail in this coffin, shall we?
7 rings in hand, speed through nights with feet in sand. 7 rings in hand, wonders all under command.
Oh boy, I either just made you so furious you were commenting, so done you clicked off, or so curious you were on the absolute edge of your seat. Yes, Shadow the Hedgehog is the worst Sonic game. Not a spin-off like some people will claim. To really understand this, we need to go back to the first-timer's perspective, which most of you went straight for the neutral path. If you didn't, tell me in the comments. I'd be surprised what I did, and what most of my friends did. The run through Westopolis is not too much of a problem. Weird counters, everyone wants you to do something for them, but you run to the end of the level, didn't find every little person or creature to kill, and just ran into the ring like the rest of the franchise has taught you. Now onto the ruins. Running through the level again, because this stuff just comes off too hard to find. Hope this isn't the rest of the game. Ring run through, finish the level, on to Prison Island. Thought this place was blew up. Whatever, they rebuilt it. Sure looks different. Another run through the stage. You understand how this works now. There are options, but you just want to complete the stage, because Charmy is getting annoying. Sorry, Charmy fans, I know he's been through a lot, but that ain't no game canon. Then boom, stage 4. Wait, where are we? Why is this place flying? I didn't do that mission. Did they just finish it? Why am I sided with Black Tomb? I told that guy to bite it. Well, I guess I'm playing stage 2 again? But breaking stuff? Weird. One more level. Wait, am I an android? What? Let's take a robot analysis minute here. Just too much of my personality cannot ignore whatever is happening with this next sentiment. Why would an android have the memory of its original copy dying? What existential garbage purpose does that serve to have a robot with thought? Shadow is suddenly very dumb, and you find yourself driving semis through plot holes again. Final level, staying neutral. Oh wait, the game says no. Pick a side, red or blue. Probably blue, right? I mean, it gets you through the level faster. Time to fight the bad guy. You killed Eggman! Save the day? Real hero, right? Nah, Chief. Get back out there. You saw those orbs and paths. It's time to explore the rest of the game, right? It did advertise a choice-based adventure on the back. Now, multiple hours later, you find yourself at 10 endings that lead to a major ending that doesn't give a real crap about any of the other endings. And as your tired mind tries to process what any of this meant, the rest of the franchise go out of its way to express how much it didn't matter. Shadow has, and always will be, a hero. It doesn't matter what you want or chose, Shadow is who they say he is.
We hope you've enjoyed No Moral Theater.
Now, the story may have already decided who Shadow is, with or without your input, but it's keeping so little track or care of itself that only about 50% of the time do you actually end the story with having earned 7 Chaos Emeralds. But as you will see, you will always have all 7, because the game needs its outro to repeat without having to change too much. There are 10 of these things after all. The more paths you jump in your playthrough, the more the story is prone to falling apart. Pretty sad for a game that touted itself as a choice-based adventure. Hero or villain and all that. In all these paths, you catch onto another one of the game's shortcomings pretty quickly. The small amount of bosses that the game seems to throw at you at random. Once you've done all 10 of this game's endings to get to the true ending, you'll have seen ones like the Egg Breaker multiple times. Many of you will get a load of this due to the fact it has been shouted at you who knows how many times. Another true failing of this game is its physics. Ice skating on butter while drunk is not pleasing. Turnaround often has to be a wide circle affair, and aiming specifically on picking up an item is a bother. If we find ourselves in space, where gravity is brought into this already slippery affair, and getting shot into the far reaches of space trying to navigate these levels can happen in a shake of your little hedgehog tail. There are levels that are built purposely against player mindset. You see these door switches? You actually don't want to touch any of these, if you want to get through the end of the level, that is. They all just open up backtracking paths that turn the place into even more of a terrible nightmare to navigate. On top of that, even for the time, this map was a joke. It has no markers to tell you anything besides where you are, a fact that would not help you without memorizing the level, a thing you are incapable of doing without completing it, or in the modern day, I guess, looking up a walkthrough. But in all of my hatred of this game, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the positives that did or should have stuck around in the series. Rail switching in this game is very smooth. I hardly ever find myself worrying I wouldn't land on the rail I wanted. Only dropping 10 rings when hit is such a blessing. Having 100 rings in other games and only having like 20 rings fly out of you that maybe only 3 or so you're actually gonna catch, that's a pain. On the note of 100 rings, I like the system they set up for rewarding lives in the game. Passing over checkpoints and getting specific rewards based on different amounts of rings was quite, well, rewarding. Let's absolutely not forget the multiple button controls along with contextual moments that this game nailed years before Lost World came around to screw it up. X popping up to do the lightspeed dash instead of connecting to a secondary somersault button was so nice and killed the worry I would have in falling into the void in these moments. Shadow the Hedgehog is a game that is fine on the surface. Your first playthrough, though messy, wouldn't piss you off. It is this game's full experience where it is bursting open at the seams. Getting to the final ending of Shadow the Hedgehog is a pointless endeavor that tells you the exact same info the ending to Sonic Adventure 2 and a little bit of Heroes told you. His past does not matter. He defines who he is every day by his own actions, and not by black and white allegiances. So yeah, nowadays he's just an angry copy of Vegeta that doesn't make any sense, and I wish they'd fix him. Well, that about wraps everything up. Sonic will always have his highs and lows, just like any other franchise. The eye of the public is just more on him due to how low his lows can be, and running gags, of course. Running fast or slamming his face into the wall, Sonic will always be my favorite franchise. It has played a large part in making me the man I am today. Knowing that, I make this list not to trash the blue pin cushion, mainly because I care about this franchise. And with a rocky history, it'd never be forgotten, so it can actually grow past these previous mistakes. Regain some form of the reputation it once garnered as something on par with the greats. So I hope you enjoyed what I had to say on this, but I know the internet and already expect some of the pitchforks. So as I prepare myself for those, I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
No such thing as an arrow through dreams. Hopes may burden but forever last to give in. So many things need a push or pull.